Hello everybody and welcome back to Tree of Tranquility. It is the first day of fall today. I've gone ahead and I've prepared my rucksack. I've got all of my seeds in here. I have my hoe, I have the sickle, and I pretty much have everything to just go crazy and plant my seeds. And you can see I have a lot prepared for fall. I've got some rice, I also have some flowers, some mums, some herb seeds, some roses, we have some cosmos, we have carrots, spicy peppers, and some bell peppers. And I also am missing some seeds that you can buy from Ruth. Most of this stuff I bought from Taylor, but I also believe that we can go to Ruth's and we can buy spinach and a couple of other things like yams and eggplants as well. So fall is going to be a pretty bountiful season. Now there's a bit of a thunderstorm going on outside, but I think it's safe to plant everything. I don't think we're going to run into a problem where my crops are going to be wiped out. So that'll just make it easier because we don't have to actually plant anything, not plant anything, but water things that we plant. It'll save us a bit of energy. And so I think I'll actually do the opposite of what we had done last season, and I will put my flowers on this field and I'll move my crops over to the other field where there's more room. I think that kind of makes sense just because there is so much to plant in fall. There really is a lot that we can plant, and I have a lot of space over there as is, but I would have even more space if I took the time to clear out the other portion of that field. Yeah. So we'll start by clearing this out. And I think there's also some flowers that I can buy from Ruth that I haven't purchased yet either, which means even more flowers. So I'm going to go kind of crazy with planting this month. I think in pretty much every harvest moon, there's no question that fall is usually the most bountiful season. Usually in the fall season, you get the most choices on what it is that you can plant. So we'll just do up a quick field here. There's a plantata root there, but I'm not going to bother picking it up. There we are. So we'll start by planting our flowers. Flowers come in pretty quickly, so once we get rid of some of these, it should give us a chance to rotate out and plant new flowers. So I've got purple herbs. I don't really need them, but I could plant them anyways. Plant our cosmos seeds. I could have spaced it out and just planted a little bit at a time, but I figured it would be best to get rid of the seeds from my inventory. So we'll plant some flowers and we'll plant some herbs, and then I'll keep the other flowers in my bag and I will worry about planting those later. I could also probably grow some stuff over here if I wanted to. So I'll go check out the other field in a moment, and we'll clear that out. I think I still have some cocoa growing on the other side. Just gotta make sure I feed my animals. Of course, I don't want them to be hungry since they can't go outside today. And I have a lot of milk in my bag. I wonder if I should maybe make them into butter and cheese and then sell them just to clear up the space. I probably will go to Ruth's and just buy more seeds. Not because I need them, but just because that's usually my routine. It's just a good sort of habit to get into, is just to do kind of all the shopping and all of the seed stuff all in one day. I fed my sheep, right? Yes, I did, okay. Second guess myself for a moment. So let me empty out my bag a bit before we pick up these eggs, just in case I don't have the room, because my bag is pretty stuffed at the moment. Gotta feed the chickens and the silkworms as well. It's always a bummer when they can't go outside. I think I'll probably see a lot more rain in the fall season. Spring and fall tend to be quite wet. Summer you get a little bit of rain, but not much. So I'll go ahead and make all this stuff into mayonnaise here, and then make sure I feed my chickens. Usually on bad days like today, I like to feed them by hand. It gives me an opportunity to get a little bit more affection with them by doing that. Since they do really love it when you feed them by hand, especially because I can't use the brush on them. I think that that kind of helps a little bit. There we are. And I have a cocoon as well. Now that that's all said and done with the flowers, we'll go on ahead and we'll check out our other field. I'll probably have to till all the soil again, which is the only kind of unfortunate thing about the season changing over, is even if you tilled soil, you still have to re-till it. I have so much stuff in my bag. I was looking for my axe, but I'll clear this out first. I would have left more stuff planted over here just to make it easier to get rid of it, but I really didn't have anything planted. I mean, I pretty much just had this stuff left and that was it. Now that these kind of tall plants are out of the way, it gives us a good chance to see the whole field. And then that will allow us to till it more effectively.
Yeah, great. Great. Yeah.
Alrighty. We're also going to be able to see some new stuff come off of our trees, which is going to be pretty nice. I think the majority of the trees that you are able to get the fruit and whatnot that comes off of it actually does come off in the summertime. Or the fall, rather. The only thing that came on in summer was oranges. So I think in fall there's much more of a variety to be had. And then in the spring, from what I remember, we had apples. So I think we may or may not have a grape tree. I know we have a chestnut tree. And so we have to sort of keep our eye out to see what kind of stuff we're going to be able to get from our tree plot. So this should be a nice money-making season for me. I'm going to make bank off of crops, I hope. And by tilling all of this land here, that should give me plenty of room to plant what I have. So I think I will continue to plant them horizontally rather than vertically. So I bought a lot of rice seeds, and the reason I bought a lot of rice is because there are a ton of cooking recipes that require rice, and so I thought I'll buy a bunch and then I'll store it and then I'll, you know, sell the rest. So why don't we start off with 5 rows of rice. That's probably plenty. We've got some pepper seeds. We'll start off, maybe we'll put the other 3 rows here. Again, I feel like I have more flowers and herbs than I do crops at the moment, so I might have to go to Ruth's. We've got spicy peppers and we have carrots. So why don't we toss these over here? I think I bought the spicy peppers from Samson, actually, at the Pineapple Inn. Oh, that's rice. I didn't want rice, I want carrots, because we didn't plant those yet. There we are. So this is probably a good place to start. Again, I could plant more, but I probably don't want to go too overboard, because this is a lot of work to actually maintain this field. It doesn't seem like it, especially when you have such a nice watering can, but it does take time to actually come here and water everything. So that's probably a good sort of limit I've set for myself, and we can go and pick up some more seeds from Ruth and plant those later. We do have, like I said, this is just the start of the season, so we have a ton of time to grow everything that we might want. Oh, and look at that! We already have stuff, like, coming in already. We've got some grapes coming in, which is lovely. Alright, so we have grapes, and we have something else on this tree. And some of the trees have changed color, which looks really nice. Fall is such a beautiful time. It's probably my favorite season. I hope we can make it to Ruth's in time. We should be able to. But she does close at 5, so I don't want to dawdle too much. Luckily, when we're in the menu to actually buy stuff, time doesn't pass, so we should be able to get in there, buy what we need, and then get out before 5 o'clock. So what does Ruth have for us that her son does not? She has pumpkins, which is probably the sort of long to grow expensive crop of the season, similar to how honeydew melons are the hard to grow crop but very profitable in spring, I would imagine, since the seeds are a bit pricey. We have yams, which are replenishable. Once you plant them, they'll grow back. We have spinach, which is the kind of poor man's vegetable of the season, similar to how potatoes and turnips and things like that grow quickly and sell for little in other seasons. We have eggplants, which again is another replenishing crop. We have rice, and I guess the good thing about rice here that we can see on Ruth's description is that it actually does replenish. So the 5 rows that I put will actually grow back. So it probably actually was not necessary for me to buy 10 seeds, but that's okay. I can always keep them for next year, or if I decide halfway through the season I want to grow more, then I can do that. And then she has unique flowers that her son was not able to sell us. The Morning Glory seeds and the Blue Mist flower seeds. Of course, the Blue Mist flowers are the most expensive and most coveted flower that exists. So I would like to grow a couple rows of these. They're expensive, but worth it because they do sell for a lot. And we'll also buy some of these other flower seeds that she is selling. So I think we'll maybe grow, let's say 3 rows of pumpkins. Let's do 3 rows of yams. Spinach, I can just buy as much as I want because it will regrow. So let's do 6 for now. And eggplants, I think 3 is a good number. I usually go with 3. When I had the corn and the tomatoes, I went for 3 rows of replenishing crops. So maybe I'll buy 3 of those too. Or I can't because my bag is full. But that's okay. I can always come back to Ruth's on Tuesday. I think she's closed tomorrow. But I can always come back for those later. Because like I said, I'm probably not even going to plant these today. And all of those seeds, they didn't really cost me all that much money, but boy are they ever going to pay off. I am going to have money, and it is going to be great. Okay, while I'm here, I guess I'll check in the mine, and I will give Owen a gift. I gotta keep these cocktails out of my bag, because they're taking up space. But he might not be here because it's raining, which I should have guessed. Usually they don't venture very far from their homes when it rains. And doing all of that pretty much ate up the whole day. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of work, but when you think about it, all that stuff does take time to do. But, in my opinion, it's time well spent. And since our animals aren't out, we can pretty much just go back inside and go to bed. And I can continue to care for all of my crops and whatnot tomorrow. Got a few things here to ship. I'll probably keep the grapes to make into things. So we managed to ship a few of these crops and whatnot today. I'll have to go back inside my house and get the herbs in order to get the cocoon dyed. I'll probably get the money I spent back with all that stuff I shipped today, which is great. You can see that fall is actually relatively quiet in comparison to summer. I feel like summer was pretty busy, but the first festival isn't until the middle of the month. So we have our arts festival, our flea market, and then we have the harvest festival at the end of the month. So I have a lot of time to be productive and to get things done. One of the things that happened when I was playing off screen is that I managed to get a piece of shining wool from my sheep, which was great. So I went ahead and turned that into shining wool yarn, which we need for our rucksack. We have 2 out of the 3 ingredients. We needed shining wool from the sheep, we needed shining flax, and we need a shining cocoon. So the cocoon is going to be the absolute hardest thing to do, since silkworms are a little bit more difficult to raise than barn animals, but I have hopes that maybe one day we'll be able to come across one, and if we do manage to find one, then we'll be able to get our final rucksack upgrade. Now my bag is pretty full of stuff, so I guess I'll just store some of these in my bag for now. I can actually probably store all of them in my toolbox, and then that way I've tried to keep it organized so that I can find them easily and just pop them into my bag when I need them. So I'll be pretty busy planting, I'd say, and if we look at my friendships, you can see here that Chase actually has 9 hearts, so he is more than ready to marry me. I've gotten his confession, and that is all ready to go as soon as I finish up the events that I have for Owen and Julius. But you can see that they're at 7 hearts, and so they only need 1 more before I'm actually ready to get their confession and go from there. Which means that hopefully sometime in the very near future we will also be getting married, which is going to be great when we're able to finally see that. Alright, well that's it for me. I'm surprised with how much time has gone on, but like I said, we did do a lot today, so I'm just going to stick with it, and I'm going to continue tending to the crops and the animals and seeing where that gets me. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.